Is my audio all right? Audio is good. All right, Stan. Alec, I don't know if Alec or Ritz, if you guys are listening, you're usually on. Are you guys going to record this so we could set it up as a podcast later or something? We might as well just record it and send it out as almost a buy or sell. What the hell? I don't really. It says I can record on this computer. Do I need to hit that? Okay. All right. If you guys are sure on that, I guess we'll figure it out today. All right, good. It looks like we're set up. So I'll try to run two chats. But yeah, Santiago, so on Euro versus Kiwi, this is my game plan, right? So when I look at the daily, so we've got Kiwi versus the dollar over here, right? This is Euro versus the Kiwi on the left, obviously. So my thinking, this is the same time. I kind of think this way. Anytime you want to trade two pairs off each other, so like obviously the euro versus the dollar, and then you want to trade the euro versus the pound, or if it's cable, pound versus the dollar, and you want to do something on Dragon. When I've got two pairs that I want to trade off of each other, I take my stronger view. So I like Euro Kiwi short, core short, but we liked it better up here, the top of the range and on some of these bounces. But this is kind of the long-term range. It's kind of widening, actually, which is kind of rare. You could draw, if you draw a regression channel, it's going to be like that. But I don't really like to do a look through on that trend line necessarily. I mean, it's still oversold down here. And the cycle's low. So I'm small core short, but I really want to have a heavier short here at the 8 and then ideally back up here. So my thinking is that if I'm small short here, I'm getting the bounce on Kiwi first. So I might short a little bit there. But really what I'm doing is I'm setting up a little bit short here, which is selling Kiwi, right? And buying dollars. But really what I want is Euro Kiwi to back up. And then I'll get more aggressive short here. And this will just be a hedge. So as I get more aggressive on the bounce, right? This position will be a lot bigger than this position. This will be a hedge. So I'll be short euros, right? And I'll be long Kiwi at some point here in time if we get the bounce. And then since I'll be this position will be bigger, I'll be long more Kiwi. This would be a hedge, being short Kiwi. But because this is bouncing first, I just layer small into here, kind of on a bounce. And then so this I might I work my average up, but then at some point I'm going to drill this even harder. But I think the opportunity today is not to short we're too in the hole. The cycle's too low. So the opportunity today is to just put a little bit back out on the hedge here. And the reason for the hedge is just, you know, if this starts to back up on me and it goes against me, say it goes all the way back to 172. Well, once we start to get above 170, then I'd have to probably you know, I'm trying to basically I'm going to either take advantage of this move up, or you have to wait. It kind of depends on which pair moves up with the model. I think you kind of get that. Because if we're heavier here on this pair, naturally, if we're selling euros, then we're long Kiwi. So kind of depends on how this plays out. I mean, it might get a shallow bounce, get a little bit heavier, and then it goes right to pi. And maybe that's a function of Kiwi really rallying, right? Because I'm short euros and I'm long Kiwi. So if this really moves down, it may be a function that Kiwi's really rallying. If that's the case, I want to make sure I'm making more money here, and then I just really back off and just do the hedge lightly. But this here, we got the daily cycle halfway up, and it's kind of near the 30. So this is a better opportunity to sell a little bit. Still, I'm going to be patient, though. I'm thinking I don't really need to hedge anything aggressively here, unless I get a bigger short on Euro Kiwi, which right now I don't have. So it's just a small sale. If that comes back down, I probably cover it. Hey, what's up, Douglas? So if you guys are joining us on YouTube, we're sold some euro versus a pound this morning back at pi on our 30-minute. It's also a pretty good bounce on the hourly. It's basically come up halfway down from the move, this big move down the other day. So it's retraced a good amount of that. This is the right spot to be reshorting. You don't want to be shorting down here. After a drop from here to here, you can't be shorting this. You got to be covering. Now you can start to reshort. And then day trade, I'm going to day trade this around also. And then euro, I just told my guys that yesterday we talked about being oversold, talked about I have never seen Fox Business put a logo up of the euro versus the dollar and talk about how oversold it was. So usually they never talk about FX. So they were everybody's talking about the euro yesterday. That was probably the low, at least for a near-term bounce. So this is a bullish engulfing setup in our model. There's lots of room to retrace this move down. We could easily bounce back to like 118. But first, you got to get above the 8. So this 8 has basically defined this whole trend down. So I'm going to be patient reshorting my bigger size on my core stuff. So my core trading is the overnight trading. I'm not planning on reshorting anything heavy there till, again, back maybe up here. Maybe I'll take a shot closer to 117. So that's for the intermediate term and longer term. And then today I faded it just a little bit day trade. We're back at the 200 on the 30-minute. See if we can kind of chop it around. But we've just been in an uptrend all morning. So any sales that we make on the euro are going to be pretty patient, smaller size. because this is a contrarian short. You're kind of squeezing all the shorts pretty much all morning. So I don't know. I sold a little bit at 42. I sold a little bit up here. I'll probably cover that right down here. And then I don't know, maybe we can get a break. These are the higher lows just on this 1 minute trend. So if you made good sales up here, it makes sense to maybe cover a little bit in front of 30. And then as far as you guys go on crypto, I had some other guys on our crypto team are kind of toying with whether or not they want to be short. And that's kind of a natural thing. You gotta realize that the big picture trend is favoring longs. And then your intermediate term is still down, but the better place to be short intermediate term is closer to like 8,000 towards the bands here. These were good places to short. This was good places to short. I mean, we're right here at the 30. So yeah, maybe you fail. This is just this pretty solid candle here at the end of a long move. It's kind of tough to be, you put it in the intermediate term in this context, it's kind of tough to be aggressively short, especially here in front of big picture levels. So I covered my covered my short in the end of last week. And we added to longs longer term yesterday. I'm going to cover a little bit of this euro. So I don't want to be too quick to hedge. I want to see if we can run up a little bit further, make some money on some of the stuff we bought yesterday, and then maybe think about hedging around 8,000. So that's the intermediate term. If you're just looking day trade, that's a different story. I mean, my stuff says that you should be playing the longs on day trade. Here's your 30-minute trend. And that ended with this real money candle on, was it Sunday? Sunday or Monday? But now you can see the bands are all going the other way. So if anything, if you're playing day trade stuff, you probably want to be long. You know, so far, if you bought this dip, you made money. If you bought this dip, you could be making money right now. This is where the power is right now. It's different here. Trend is down. So yeah, if you guys shorted euros, you cover some here for sure. And then let's see if we can get a bigger break. 30 minutes probably crossing. Yeah, 30-minute cycles moving back down. Again, it failed right at 200 on 30. If you can break this spot right here, then maybe we can fall down and test 116. Santiago, sorry, buddy, I missed what you're asking. On the euro? And then guys, for like the stuff like this Bitcoin futures, obviously, but on the Ethereum, the Litecoin, the BTC added yesterday. I'm not going to really make a move until we get one more push. We can look at the cash chart in a second. No, I don't think you go long euro. No. You don't. It's tough. This is in no man's land. I think we had this conversation last time we had the bounce. You get above the bands here, you only have a short amount of distance before you're right at the 200. And now the edge is almost to be short again. So that's why it's always tough to really want to play an aggressive long. Between the bands and 200, there's just not a lot of space. It's almost easier just to put out small, very light, small core short. And then start to think day trade short here or here. I mean, if you're playing this 15-minute, you want to take a long down here. Or when you break the bands, start to go long, and you could be buying these pullbacks. But now you got to be kind of coming out of that. I mean, you're going to run into levels where you're going to see sellers again. It's tough to want to be day trade long right here. I mean, the 5 minutes already had such a good run. If you wanted to play along here, that's different. These are all pretty good dips. This is a pretty good sized candle. It started to move off. So the stuff that I sold this morning, I'm definitely going to be covering a decent amount of that here. Then maybe play, depends on how we get there. If it pulls back is one thing. If we collapse, I don't really like to buy collapses. Sometimes it depends on how it gets there. 15-minute cycle still can come down. We'll see. Maybe we can cover the short and then lean a little bit long into here. That'd be about halfway up today. So it's always just kind of depends how you do it. The same thing on Bitcoin. It's like after a big intermediate term move and you get a little bit of a bounce, it just kind of depends on how you play it. There's plenty of reason to want to play long, but you're still dealing with an intermediate term downtrend. This is just a pretty good move down already. So short, there's your 1 minute cycle down. That's why it made sense to cover here in the new lows. Not a bad place to short right there. Probably missed it. Right? You guys know why. Get their wall down. Right there, boom. Looks like we missed it. Got a little bit of break on euro pound too. See if we can follow through a little bit more on that. Now they're getting after the euro. Look how subtle that little wall was. I was kind of busy talking there, but that same little wall concept. You can get it, especially when we start to trade bigger size, guys. You can be bidding to cover, and then boom, you realize, okay, we drop from here to here, about halfway, start offering. You get lifted, now you start bidding below the market again. It's not a lot of movement on euro versus pound, but it sold pretty well up here. So I'm going to cover some of that into this area. And then maybe we can get a bigger break there. See what cable's doing. What day is it? Wednesday? What do we have? I didn't even look at the calendar. Oh, so we already had ADP. 178,000 versus 191. You just had GDP. Well, that's good, Jason. That was part of the euro probably getting hit. Quarter 2.2. 10 o'clock, we got Bank of Canada rate statement. And then you got Dave's favorite central banker, Jordan, speaking at 10:45. Cables just keeps making lower highs. Another topping tail at the hourly bands. Failed at pie on the 15-minute. So you got euro and pound going down pretty good right now. So euro versus pound probably not going to move that much. Okay, so now you have a 1 minute on the euro. It's breaking down. So obviously the 1 minute will change trend first, right? This is the 5 minute trend. So this was the last higher low. I don't really care about that one. It's too close to the 8. I care about this next. It's probably in the process of putting in another higher low. It could do it right there and bounce. It could do it right here and bounce. So this is 5 minutes still in an uptrend as long as you're above here. This 116 area. That's why you want to cover if we get down there. But then the 1 minute's already broken down. So I draw this in green to show the uptrend. And then when you look at the 1 minute, of course, being fractal on a smaller time frame, it's already breaking. So here was the uptrend. And then we took this little low out right there. So this technically is bearish trend now, right? Here's a lower high. I'm just looking at dollar CAD because he got that CAD rate statement. I don't see a whole lot to do in dollar versus the CAD. I mean, the dollar's still pretty strong against most pairs. I don't see it really high within the range to 132. It's not, there's not a great edge there to do much. Big picture anyway. Could cover a little bit more euro, depending on how short you guys are from higher up. I don't have a whole lot of risk on. Just scalping it around. I mean, $400 so far. So you can kind of see here, I had a couple pieces from earlier when we rallied below the market. So the stuff I already sold up here covered it. Probably cover this piece at break even to get a little bit lower. And then let's see, might even go a little bit long for a bounce. And then there's a couple of core pieces here that I'll just leave out there into like tomorrow, today. You guys want to look at the cash crypto market? Let's see. So I still think the biggest thing in Bitcoin here is this triple bottom with the cycle, the big picture 8.6 monthly cycle. I should say that weekly, sorry. It's a weekly. This energy has been so low in the market. kind of watching this 8 on pretty much every coin. I mean, the 8 does a great job on depending whatever time frame you're looking at. The 8 will kind of show you the smaller time frame below. Whatever time frame you're looking at, the direction of the 8 will show you the next time frame lower. So in this case, you're on the daily. The 8's showing you the intermediate term trend, which is still down, but we're kind of a lot of these coins are trying to test whether or not they can get above the 8, and they haven't been able to do that back above it since up here. So like this is a Misego, obviously. Still haven't been able to get above the 8. So it's trying. Litecoin, I think, is above it. BTC wasn't last night when I checked. Let's see. So you're flirting with it right now. We really got to clear this area. We got a good shot. Cycle is low. Ether, same thing, right at it. Litecoin should be above it. I don't have the cycle, the bigger picture cycle, till a little bit later on LTC. Yeah, we got another bounce back on the euro. I'm going to sell a little bit more euro that I covered earlier. We got to let this 5-minute cycle come back up, though, on the euro, guys. I'm not going to switch over, but you guys know what I'm talking about. If the euro versus the dollar, you look at the 5-minute cycle, let that come up a little bit more before you hit it with any size. 15-minute cycle still down. 30-minute still rolling over. Just that 5-minute trend still bullish. Yeah, so Litecoin, it's a little bit better above the 8. Nothing, just because it pokes through it, you really need to close a full candle above and then have the next day fall through. We did buy there yesterday. This whole market's just sleepy. We added to salt yesterday. Can't get above the 8. Cardano is trading a little bit better. We should probably add to some Aeon down here, bracket 2. Pretty good little buy zone. Zero X back down on the hourly. I might grab some 0x down here. $4 versus Tether. Bittrex versus BTC. We had a pretty good move. Some of you guys are trying to buy down here, and that was a good spot. We're right hanging out at pi here on 0x versus tether. Daily cycle still coming down. I mean, we're right at the bands. I'm going to add to this today, probably right now. Enigma's pretty low. The higher low. It's probably worth scaling back in, guys, back down here towards front of a buck. Scale in here. The risk is below $1. It's pretty good risk reward. If this market takes off, we'll be back at 3. Probably no problem. Maybe even a higher high relative to here. I'm going to write some of these down. So Enigma, Aeon. Still can't get above the 8. It's like the whole market right now. Just need a little bit more of a push. 0x. Binance daily cycle is pretty low. It's right on the 8. It's a little bit more of a range trade. Let's talk about 12 as support. Kind of missed that at 12. Your intermediate term range on Binance is 12 to 14.5, 15. Small long there. EOS kind of had that negative news. I don't know if that was real or fake, but still held the bands. You're still in the long-term uptrend. You held pi, 4 hour. Hey, Jordan, we bought Monero this morning. So you held pi, guys, twice here on EOS on the 4 hour. They're good spots to buy. Nice and low cycle. Yeah, this morning, I'll show you guys here. In our crypto team, I put a couple of charts here on Monero. So this is our real-time alerts room. Signaling trades, talking the market, putting in analysis. But on Monero, there's a couple of things. If you look versus BTC, Why won't that pop up? There we go. You guys see that? So this is not the one I clicked on. So versus BTC, we kind of got this regression channel going on. You got the top of the range is up kind of up here. Any type of move up here, you're overbought. This is versus Bitcoin, obviously, right? And then this has kind of been the bottom of the range long term. So you're trending this way. Top of the range, bottom of the range. So we're near the bottom of this long-term range when you're kind of valuing this versus Bitcoin. So I like that. I think that's bullish. The cycles are low. Your RSI is low. So I think Monero looks good versus Bitcoin. And then when you want to look at it versus Tether, I really like this buy zone down here. So I bought this morning again. But just like the overall market, we had a low in February, April, probably get another low here. The RSI is nice and low, the cycle's low. So every time he bought down at these levels, turned out pretty good. $1 Yeah, so pretty good spot to be long. I mean, really, if you even look back here, this was the first big move up of Monero, and you had this big cup and handle base. We call this a cup and handle. And then you had a small little handle right there, and then it broke out. So you're back to those same levels where you broke out from. So you want to be a buyer long term. We can look at bonds, guys. Euro's breaking. All right, thanks for the heads up. Trying to see if we can take out 24. Like I said, we can take out 24. Maybe we can slide towards pi here on the 1 minute. What did you guys end up doing in tens? I live in a near-term downtrend this morning. Kind of high at 121 yesterday. I think we talked about that, right? Getting up close to that pivot low. Daily cycles high. 30 minutes up. Just held the 15 minute. Not a bad place to try long here. Get this downtrend going on though. So we resold that 1 minute bounce. So I'm going to cover a little bit back now on that euro. Just scalping around the 1 minute this morning. Don't have a lot of movement. Aaron, my stochastic settings, I do 5x3. Forget %K, I think is the first one. %K, 5. 5x3. And then I forget the length. Some different platforms kind of have different lengths sometimes. It's probably at a 10. Let's see. %K is 5. Doesn't give me a length on Thinkorswim. On Coinigy, the length is 10. 5x3 length is 10. Yeah. Thanks, Crypto Gone. Is that Crypto Gone, like Gong Show? Crypto's been a gong show lately. All right, guys, maybe this euro breaks. What screen do I have up? Probably is going to slide into pi now that we took out 24.25. Good spot to cover a little bit. And then I think I will flip and go long. Day trade. So this is the thing. Day trade, I'm short. I'll flip and go day trade long, but then keep some core pieces short, overnight. So I can play a long here on a bounce, make money. Flip back short, maybe, if we bounce like that. If I buy and we don't really bounce, maybe I'll cover a core piece on a break and then look to sell a bounce, get heavier on a near-term bounce. You kind of blend in the near-term into the core position. So you can just trading multiple time frames. Santiago on bonds, yeah. Stick with that 15 minute when you want to day trade like 30s. Pi does pretty good. You can sell 10s when you get away from the bands. Sell 10s, could be covering that stuff this morning and then covering some of it, keep the core short in 10s, and then, pick your spots in bonds. Even if you had bought the bands here, there's half a point, 10 ticks, another 10 ticks, 10 ticks. So I used to trade it around like that. I short 10s, I cover some 10s, I buy a few bonds. I come out of my bonds, maybe I re-short 10s here, maybe cover a little bit of 10s, rebuy some bonds, come out of the bonds, re-short some 10s, cover the 10s. You can trade those two off each other like that. That's the best way to trade the yield curve is you just leg around, trade both off each other directionally. And then if you have a view on the carry trade, but I think that makes sense. And then if bonds really break down, you could even go short bonds. I mean, you could be short 10s here and then take a shot at short 30s, or maybe you wait for a downtrend below pi. If you're looking for a spot intermediate term in 30s, 143 or 143 the buck is a good spot. Right near pi on the 30-minute. The hourly bands, the 30 on the hourly is 130.12. 130 the buck. Right in there. We're too extended up here. Definitely should have sold some 10s. I don't know. I just haven't been focused on bonds at all. I probably need to be more intentional. Santiago, we can start trading bonds like that. I'll show you. I'll show you how to leg it around. Yeah. And if you're long a million notional, which probably futures is a little bit easier. But it's 156 bucks. Tick. No? I flipped over to crypto. That's right. Euro's back on the low in the 1 minute. Oh, what's up, Alex? Hey, Aaron, the currency stuff, I got most of my bands and stuff set up on Thinkorswim. I've used them for a long time. I always like their mobile. I do a lot of mobile trading, but sometimes I'll switch over to MetaTrader, which is another Forex platform. But I don't mess with my bands and all the wave formation stuff on here because it just gets annoying to constantly put on the chart. I just kind of use this for execution, and then I'll come back over here. And like when I'm teaching my guys and stuff, this is just the easier visual. You can see more markets, you can look at stocks. Are the stock guys in yet? What time do they show up for work? 9:30? Jeez. I don't have a big view on equities here. I think they may check up and make a higher low. I mean, we kind of started to break this wedge. Oh, that's a bad color. We started to break this wedge a little bit, got above the high, tried to pull back, but we might be catching this 30 here in the bands. So we make a higher low there relative to here. Might actually make a higher high. It's going to start to look like an uptrend again. So I'm actually still a little bit short. And I'm just trying to play I was looking for a break towards 2650. And I would buy some Apple and maybe some other names I like longer term down here. This daily cycle is still on its way down. I don't know if we get it. There's a chance we might have just made a higher low right there. I'll take this short off in futures if we get above this high. I'll just take that off and stop out. It's a small short. I'm long Apple a little bit anyway. I did want it to pull back to get more long some stuff. I don't know if we're going to get it. S&P really is unstoppable. Euro's coming back up a little bit. So I like to keep an eye on my 15-minute cycle, guys. There's a chance that this bottoms and we're going to move back towards 116.50. So just like I was saying, that 5 minutes still bullish. That's why you got to cover on that little stupid little dip because it's still making higher lows. So this is the new higher low now, right? In the context of this uptrend. So if the 15-minute cycles rallies, I may not re-short till back up here. Depends on how aggressive you want, but I kind of like to keep an eye on that 15 minute. 30 minutes still down. You got to break the 8 here. Oil is probably going to make a higher low here. Daily cycle's low. Not a bad place to be long oil, actually. Buy some energy stocks. Natural gas filled at high. Copper still making lower highs. Uh, who asked me that? Alex? That's a good question. Um, let me grab some coffee. I don't, I'm yawning, so let me refresh. Now I'll answer that question. It's a good question about how do you kind of know if it's a pivot or if it's a higher low. So the trick is you got to kind of move away from it first. So you don't really know while it's in the process, and then you got to kind of move away from it. So just give me a second, then we can look at it. Then we can look at week two, Santiago. One sec, guys. I'm not in a hurry to reshort the euro now because I'm telling you this 15 minutes pretty low. So if I reshort, it'd probably be at a new high. Maybe 116.40 might sell a little bit. I'll be right back. Hold on. All right. So I think we were talking about the euro to answer your question right out. So it depends on what time frame you're looking at, but I mean, if I'm looking at a 30-minute, the higher lows that I care about are tend to happen near the 30 or the bands, but the bands kind of are just flipping up here on this chart. So this is the move up. And you had some higher lows here, but they're all on the 8. So what's really going to define this trend now would be a pullback here. And then the probability is after this move up, you should get a bounce somewhere first. And then from there, you could take out the pivot low and break. So I'm not this trend on this time frame is still bullish, even if you pull back to 116 or even lower. You wouldn't break that trend unless you put in the low and then you got to move away from it. So in the process of coming down, I mean, you could collapse like this and then even get a small bounce and you move away from it. That creates the higher low relative to here. And then from there, you mark that and, you know, the market can do what it did. Now, if you look at a smaller time frame, so I was talking about the trend on the 5-minute. See here, you have the higher lows at the 30 that matter. And so we went from here, pulled back, and then you moved away from it. So technically, you could say you're making lower lows now on the 5-minute. You could argue that this is kind of moved to bearish because you are making lower highs. But you could just as easily hold right here. So that's why if you made some sales up here or where I was selling, you cover some into this area and then probably think about getting long right here, right in this zone. You often see a 5-minute higher low with a swing line that gets rejected at the now descending 8. Okay, I think I know what you mean. It's just, whoops. You're gonna get you're gonna get a little bit of, I guess I call it crossroads. So if I'm on the 5-minute, I look at the direction of the 8, it's down, right? So that's showing you the 1-minute trend. So yeah, there's gonna be times where you get a swing line. I think you're talking about right there. So it just depends how you play it a little bit. I mean, you can buy into that dip. You could buy the swing line. And then, yeah, the 1-minute kind of caps it. But sometimes when you're in a pullback, you buy this candle. You could buy this swing line. You could get another one and you buy it. Well, if you buy boom, 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 and then the market holds the bands, you got a pretty good average. That's why playing your size is kind of helpful. If you buy this swing line more aggressive, your average would be nice and low. I mean, here's a little swing line up here around the 8. You could buy that, and you got some follow through. It's just tough to get really aggressive here. A better location you can buy here. You just kind of sometimes you got to be willing to buy deeper. Yeah. Yeah, Yeah, if you're day trading, typically it depends where you start your trade. Typically, if you start a trade, like this was pretty good timing, obviously. But a lot of times you're going to get your higher lows here or here. So when you get a cycle, like this is, we're still pretty high on after this much of a move. And you're right into pie. And I'm not, that's why I'm not long right now. But I would be okay being long here because you're going to, these are good places to start your trades when you get the cycle low for, you know, for a day trade long. So obviously, if you buy into the dip here, and you don't hold on to your bands and you get heavier, you got to cut some risk. Or just totally stop out, maybe flip and go short. Kind of depends how it pulls back. Because you're going to get a lot of 1 minute bounces usually on the way back. And obviously, the 100% retrace is always the toughest because you start buying here. That's you got to kind of time it up with the 1 minute too. So your 1 minute's like this. If you never break back above the 1 minute and you never start making higher highs, your 1 minute be going down, up, down, up, down, up. Well, if you never turn the corner on the 1 minute, you're better off not getting really long till you get a 1 minute uptrend. So you can buy some, get a little bit heavier. And then if you don't break the 1 minute back up, you could just stop. Or maybe you go a little bit short and then you play the next bounce up. It's kind of hard to explain unless you kind of traded through it while it's happening. Cover some euro pound, guys. If you sold some, this is a good spot. You might get a higher low. I'll cover a little bit. Yeah, the 1 minute on crypto, I don't think I've ever used it. Are you okay buying on the 15 minute? Yeah, it's always a balance between the 15 minute and the 30 minute. Obviously, sometimes you just, I guess the best way to think about it is just be aware of it. You get a 15-minute cycle that's low, but your 30 minutes coming down. So sometimes you can buy. You just got to be patient. You may want to wait for the 1 minute to turn back up. So like in this instant, if it keeps going lower, 15-minute cycle might be low here, and then it's still low here, and it's still low here because you're sitting through a 30-minute down cycle. So a lot of times you wait till you get your trend on the 1 minute before you get long. So if you're playing crypto, you wait for the 5 minute to be bullish before you really go with the day trade move. That's what I mean. A lot of times it just depends how you play it. I mean, The times to get most aggressive day trade is when you're with the 1 minute, you're with the 5 minute, and then you can time your entry. Maybe you're going contrarian with the 15-minute and the 30-minute cycles. But sometimes your 15-minute is low or turns up and the market doesn't really bounce. Then you got to wait on your 13-minute before you get aggressive. We kind of did that yesterday. Was it yesterday? On this move, we did that on this move. So we came in the other day, and this was bearish. So I identified that wall, and then started shorting right here. And the 15-minute cycle was high here, but it didn't cross. It did try to cross a couple times, but the market did the 5 minute and the 1 minute didn't roll over. So we kept selling, but you had to be patient as the 30-minute played out. And then when the 30-minute crossed, we hit it harder. And then you got the follow through. So you play the two off. Obviously the 15 minutes are going to cross first. But sometimes the 15-minute will be high and your 30 minutes only halfway back. So you got to kind of be patient sometimes, where this will stretch you a little further than you think. I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't come off. I mean, this is a pretty strong move. We're so oversold. It might just come right back here to pi. I mean, I'm okay with you playing it either way. You could even flip and go small long here. You know, if you're short euro versus the pound and the euro comes down, this should come lower. So you can make some money there. But you small long here, if we come back to the highs, you'd be in good shape. If it pulls back more, it's okay. You can kind of buy into it. Maybe the euro versus the pound comes off more. I'm only small short right now, so I'm okay with it. I definitely want to be thinking long though here, or at least cover the shorts. So nice sales earlier on euro pound. This is pretty slow, guys. FX has had a lot of energy lately. It's been pretty slow. Yep. You're welcome, Alex. What else? You want, Alex? We got another Alex, or maybe it's the same Alex. I don't know. You got live cattle. I don't know. It's just kind of stuck in the mud here. The weekly is still bearish. That break of that trend line. Got a lot of powerful red here. Right on the 8 weekly cycles turning back down. I don't know. It's just filled that gap for the most part. Right here, there's a little gap. filled it pretty close. I think the easier money's on the short side still. It's kind of tough to short it right now. You're better at towards the bands here. Yeah, it's kind of sideways. I mean, big picture, it really is sideways. I mean, I get the longs down here. Pretty good support. Probably too early on the long side right now. Weekly cycle doesn't look that great either. Daily's down. Probably going to leak lower. Oh yeah, we said wheat too, right? Well, we had a good call on the wheat long. Remember we said you're all right, guys? You guys were kind of nervous right here. And then all you did was make a higher low, and then you got a higher high. So you should have been taking profits into here. And then maybe now, I mean, this daily cycle is just coming down. You could maybe nibble long, but you got to kind of wait for lower again, this daily cycle. But that was a good move. It's still long-term at an uptrend. Taking profits on new highs, that was the right move. Matt Z, bull flag on BTC. 4 hour. I think so. I mean, kinda. I mean, for a bull flag, show you what I'd rather see. See if the euro can come a little bit lower. Yeah, and euro Kiwi back on the lows. Still small short there. All right, I'm gonna cover a little bit more euro versus the dollar. I'm flirting with maybe going long. I think I'm gonna wait for a little bit deeper. This 30-minute can come down a little bit more. I'm gonna see kind of closer to 116, and maybe I'd take a long day trade on the euro. What are we talking about? Oh, the bull flag. So on Bitcoin, I mean, the biggest thing to care about is the trend right here. So this was a lower high, but we really took out the low here, and this is the start of this intermediate term downtrend. So you look at the bands are all sloping. All these green lines, I call those the bands. Those are all descending. Okay, you could draw a regression channel. Can't draw regression channels on CoinAG, but that's going to show you the same range. So we're still in a downtrend. So I'd rather see a bull flag look more like, I'd rather see the bull flag in an uptrend. The price is doing this. And then, yeah, then you kind of flag. And then you break out again. Flag like that. And then right? So, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. I would just see, I don't really see a pronounced one. That's pretty, it's the same thing. I mean, this candle right here, this is a pretty strong candle. It's one of the strongest candles since this one. And so what's interesting is that price is staying in the top 25% of that range, which is pretty bullish. So probably get some follow through. See if this can produce follow through. Pretty good covers there on the 1 minute. So you cycle away from pi, cycle back to it. From here, with the 15-minute, there's a chance it's another cycle back up, or you take that low out and then it's another cycle back down. But I'm okay with longs right there. Like we talked about, right into the bands. Trying a little bit of a long on the 1 minute. I'm not. Bitcoin's kind of in a tough spot right here. It depends how you play it. I mean, I bought yesterday, so I'm not really going to chase the futures long right into pi here. Say you were to get a real money candle here. So you got this one, And let's say you get another one. Well, you could add there, but since I bought yesterday, I don't really want to chase the futures into pie. I'd almost rather wait on the future side, and if we pull back halfway of that bar, be a buyer of futures here instead of chasing here. But sometimes it depends how you play it. I mean, if you bought there and then you buy another candle like that, that's okay. You'd still have a nice average. I'm just gonna, the stuff I bought yesterday, I want to come out of it, so move it up here. We could get Ethereum to bounce, Bitcoin to bounce, Litecoin to bounce, and then maybe come out of some of my long, and then maybe play a short, just a small short at like 8,000 in case we fell back. And since I'm flat futures, if we pull back first, then I might buy some futures here and I'll be even more long. And try to play a bounce like that as long as we're above here. Take a little bit more risk on the futures side down here. I don't know if we're going to get that pullback. So either way, if we go up, I make money on the stuff I bought yesterday. If we pull back, I'll get better levels to buy futures long. Just play it this way. If some guys are a small short here, it makes sense to cover their short on that drop. And then they could add back more long. Depends how you play it. Because you just have a little bit of a cross flow. Intermediate term downtrend, you got near term uptrend, you got a big picture uptrend. Kind of depends how you play it when you have a lot of cross currents. When everything is running together, it's easier. Like when the euro, when you got bearish long term, and then you get the intermediate term to roll back over, like here. And then you got all these little near-term downtrends. You got everything flowing in the same direction. Well, today you have a near-term uptrend. You pretty much have everything flowing down except for the near term. So if the near term starts to break down, then I'd be back short more. So I sold a few pieces for the intermediate term. So I sell a few pieces here on the intermediate term, short more up here. And if the market trades up here like this, you have near-term uptrend, and then the near-term rolls over. Then you have big picture downtrend, you got intermediate term downtrend, and then you'll have a near-term downtrend. You short all three time frames. That's when you make the most money. So like today, I've just been playing it small, scalping around because I'm a better seller of the euro. I'm much more bearish of the euro. So when it has a strong near-term bounce, there's just not that much downside. There's only been a little bit here to capture. So only pulled out a little bit. And then I'm a little bit out of money on these core pieces, but that's okay. I would love for the euro to bounce again because then I can short bigger size. I don't want to sell 116. I want to sell 118, 19 on the bigger size. I can't get heavy after a big run down at like 115. So these are smaller pieces to put out. If we roll over, great, make a little bit of money. If we go higher, that's what I really want. This is what I want to sell, really. And you got to kind of work it within the context of the bounce. Spent a few more minutes here, guys. Made a little bit of money on the euro. I think 0x looks good. I might add Ion. Kind of was looking at Enigma. Added the Monero. Let's see what else. Oh, Neo looked pretty good yesterday. I didn't pull the trigger. Just got distracted, really. That's gas, but it's pretty low versus BTC. Neo's back here in front of 40. It's almost the same thing as chart's not quite the same as Monero, but it's the same kind of idea that this was the prior base kind of right after it was Ant shares, right after it turned Neo from Ant shares. And then this was the first move up. You get the first pullback. The second leg is always bigger. Most of the time is bigger. Pretty big retracement here, followed by another good bounce to a lower high. But this is kind of where the market broke out from. So it's tough to be long here. This is the better place to be long from. Longer term. This is good levels. I'm going to buy it at some more Neo today. I'd be pretty shocked if we broke 40. If we break 40, I'll just cut half my position and wait. Because if we can't hold 40, then maybe we fall to 20, and then I'll probably double and triple my position down there at 20. So buy some here. If we can't hold 40, probably take 80% of my risk off. And just wait and see for if we test lower, then you can really load up. I kind of doubt we break 40 though. Pretty good support down there. We held it in December, held in front in March, held in front in April. The Neo looks good. Gas should follow it. Walton chain's pretty sleepy. It's just basing. If it gets above the bands, it might be ready to go. You guys can watch for is see how the bands all lie on top of each other. It's the same thing that happened right here. And then as you get a couple big candles, you buy that one, took out the highs, you buy that one, and then boom, get the first pullback, get another leg up. Oh, kind of looking for the same thing over here. A lot of these charts are lining up for a breakout closer to the end of the summer. It's probably about right. I mean, BTC needs to get above 10,000 to make a higher high. You've got like Walton, for example, here. Its pivots right there before it makes a higher high. That pivot right there was right there back in December, January. Salt versus Bitcoin looks pretty cheap. Wish I could get a regression channel on here. This Knowles chart's pretty strong chart. See, it's already making higher highs and higher lows. So this is one of the few charts. This is the daily time frame. It's already in a long-term uptrend. A lot of the majors are still making lower highs. So this chart's pretty strong. This actually looks pretty good right there. Write that one down. I mean, so I kind of go through, guys, and when I look at my alts, I don't just see one and then buy it because there might be two others that I like better. So I try to look at them all, and then you only have so much capital. So try to decide which, if there's 10 I like, I try to figure out, okay, maybe I only can buy 3 or 4, or but there's a lot of them that look pretty good. But this is definitely one of the strongest charts. Nano versus BTC is pretty low. I don't know if I have a chart versus the dollar. But yeah, we do. So this is one that's pretty cheap, but it's still making lower lows, so it's in a downtrend. I don't see anything to rush into there. Dash looks pretty good down here too. On 300. Kind of the same as Neo, Monero. You're back to levels we broke out from the end of the end of last year. Dash looks good. Okay, yeah, I haven't looked at Zap in a while. Let me look at that one. Even Dash versus BTC, guys, is really low. I like Dash down here. Ethereum Classic looks pretty good. All right, so versus the dollar on HitB at 8 cents. It's at the bottom of its range, but it's tough to want to like say, hey, if you break 50 cents or if you break 5 cents to stop out because you're going to test this low and then you're right at 0. So I think you just stay on a scale. I mean, this is so low. Buy more at 5, buy more in front of 25, 2.5 cents. It's just kind of like the rest of the market. It's back at the bottom of the range. Maybe you add more here. I don't know. Depends. Definitely could see a pretty good pop of any type of momentum comes back in this market. I mean, percentage move from the lows from December, 400%, 500%. Hopefully you can trade out of it. I don't know how liquid it is. Screwed this trade up on GRS the other day. Bought really well. 2 days later, it was like 50, 60% there. Just totally missed it. Oh, yeah, some of you guys are playing Nexus here. I like this daily. I like how it's moving to a new high. Nice real money candle. Could stay with this one and buy it on dips. And that's even versus BTC. You follow the money, I mean, it's kind of sideways and then boom. See if you can get some follow through on that. It's above high. The daily cycle's high, but it's okay. It's just kind of the start of a new uptrend, maybe. Vertcoin looks pretty low to me. We really nailed this October, November, December. It's probably time to start scooping some of that back up too. All right, guys, I got OMG, Enigma. There's kind of a lot of names, but Enigma, Ion, 0x, Neo, Nulls, Dash, NXS, VTC. Could probably even buy some more Zap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. I'll probably put some real-time alerts in here on these. bought the majors a little bit yesterday already, so I don't think I'll add to that unless we get a break. I'm gonna cover any more of these euro shorts. Just broke 116.10. And I'm just going to stay core short. I don't really feel like trading through lunch here, but it's not a bad place to maybe try a little bit of a day trade long. Kind of got to time it up with the 15-minute a little bit. 15-minute, 30-minute cycle. Anyway, if any of you guys are new and you want to join the crypto team, just go to jenkinsrm.com, Jenkins Risk Management. And so it's free to join the chat room, but you can just message us from in there. And it's only $99 a month, but that'll get you into the real-time alerts. That's where we're posting everything we're doing in crypto. We have like a 75-80% win rate once you learn to combine the signals with the trend, the cycles, and how to work a position. But it more than pays for itself. So there's a lot to learn there in crypto. That's one of the best ways to do it. Then we have this trading course. This is 9 hours. This is amazing. This is everything I put into our institutional model. It's only $2,000. It's the same model we use to make millions on the institutional side, literally. The guys trading this model making $300,000 in the morning. So big money, trading real risk. It's the same process we use. It's only $2,000. And then this is our coaching session. We do a little bit like we're doing today, but we get way more into the process. Trading plan, how to identify the setups, where's your risk, where to set your stop, trailing stops, how to trade with a model and a process instead of emotion and ego. But that's pretty good, guys. So tomorrow I'll be back in the morning with my coaching clients, and then Friday we'll do this again. It might start a little bit later on Friday. I got a call with some overseas guys in the morning, so I think we'll probably do 11 on Friday, but we can do the same thing here today. And then we'll start doing more of these during the week. It'll be nice when crypto kind of picks up and we can actually be making some moves together. Anyway, pretty good trading on the euro. It was kind of a quiet morning, but did sell the high. So it's pretty good. We'll see what we get on VTC, but I think we covered that pretty good. All right, guys, good stuff. Enjoy the rest of your trading day. We'll talk to some of you in the chat. All right, guys, you're welcome. Come join the team. There's a lot more to learn. I'm happy to share. So this is my life trading. So I'll be here for as long as you guys want to be here. All right, Dave, buddy. We'll see you. See you, Christine, Alex, Santiago. Later, Michael. All right, guys.